So it's time for the Hebrew of the week. Better late than never, right? So we're in Ruth chapter 2, and today is verse 21. In the flow of the story, Boaz has kind of let Ruth glean near his men. Ruth has taken some back to her mother-in-law, Naomi. Naomi said, "What's this? Where'd this come from? Well, who did this?" Ruth tells her, and Naomi's like, "Hey, this has promise. This guy's a near kinsman. He could be a Goel, a kinsman redeemer." And so Ruth responds here to Naomi's like, "This is good." And here, see if you can pronounce the Hebrew. Here's my feeble attempt. Vatomer Ruth, ha Moaviyah, gam ki amar elai. It's not a lie, but anyway. So this is hopefully familiar by now. Vatomer. It is a vayiktol, or a preterite, or a converted imperfect. Vav patak doubling. And so that is a converted imperfect sign. That means that the tav is a performative of the imperfect. It is a third feminine singular. It's from amar, nothing done to the stem, so it's a G or a call. So it's, and she said, it's very nice. And hopefully you're beginning to know that. Vayomer is the one to know, and he said, that's more common in the Old Testament, but we're seeing Vatomer here in Ruth quite a bit. So, and she said, Ruth said, it's root for the Moabites. No, that's not root for the Moabites. Okay, and Ruth said, Ruth the Moabitess. Hey, patak doubling is what? It's the, right? So the Moaviyah. The kamatz hey is a feminine singular ending, so it's not a Moabite, it's a Moabitess. And Ruth the Moabitess said, and then you can see Moab in the middle there. She said, quote, also, gam, that he said to me. So el is to, and the yod is the first common singular object suffix, me. Amar is a perfect third feminine singular, again, G or call, stem. So here's Amar in an imperfect form. Here's Amar in the base perfect form. This is a vocabulary form even. Key is a conjunction. It's not necessarily good English, but it works very fine in English. So, and Ruth the Moabitess said, quote, also, Boaz said to me, what else did he say to you? He said, can you pronounce this? Here's my pronunciation. Im ha-na'arim asher li tid bakin ad im kilu. All right, so with the servants, so hapatak doubling is the, we had a hapatak doubling up here, the, hapatak doubling down here, the. Here yod mem is a masculine plural absolute ending, so the servants, the S comes from the im, the comes from the hapatak doubling. Also, he said to me, stay with the servants. You will stay close. You will stay close with the servants that are to me. His servants, in other words. This is a possessive here construction. My servants, Boaz is saying. There are servants that are to me. They're mine. La is to, and here yod is, again, me, object suffix. So asher is the relative pronoun, who, which, that. So he said, also, with my servants, you will stay close till they finish. And the reason, of course, for that is because I am so pleased with the modern justice system. The modern justice system, the modern police system has done a really good job in modern times, I hope, I think, of limiting things like rape. You can imagine that in the Wild West, rape probably happened very often. And in the ancient world, rape happened very often, especially if a woman's unattached. So, if you have brothers, if you have a father, if a woman is embedded in an extended family, you have a deterrent, because if you do something to the woman in that network, they're coming for you. The story, I was recently reading the story about how Dinah was raped by Shechem in Genesis. And, Levi and Simeon, they obliterate all the men in the town of Shechem. they obliterate in revenge for the rape of their sister Dinah. But Ruth doesn't have a network like that. She's not embedded in a family system. She doesn't have a husband or brothers or a father to protect her. She is incredibly vulnerable to rape in that world. And so Boaz knows this, and Boaz basically tells his servants to look out for her or else. So he said that you will stay with the servants, stay close to me. So Tidbakeen, you will stay close. This is an imperfect. That tav is a second feminine singular. And the yod here, so it's a 1-2 punch. The tav on the front and the yod on the end are the second feminine singular. You, woman, singular woman, will stay close. The nun here is completely meaningless. It's a nun paragogicum. It's probably to smooth the sound between the fact that we have a vowel here and I guess ayin's kind. I mean, anyway, this nun is confusing for a Hebrew student. It's completely meaningless, and so we should probably take it off for analysis' sake. The tav and the yod are a second feminine singular kind of form, and then it's from dabak. So it is I believe it's a call or G, imperfect, second feminine singular from dabak. I don't believe that it's a D stem. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, well, that could be a doubled, but it isn't. I'm pretty sure because I think this is a silent schwa. The syllable's closed, and so that's a light dagish at the beginning of a syllable. Let me just double check that real quick just to make sure I'm not misleading you. Why do I doubt myself? I'm always right. Well, I'm not always right. Okay, so you will stay close with the servants, my servants, until they finish. So until if, I mean, this is kind of until, ad im, until, till if, anyway, until, and then kilu. This is from, I think it's kala, but it is a PL. This one is a D stem. That lamed is the doubled second radical. And then it doesn't really have, I think it's a third hey. Let me double check. Yes, again, I'm right. So it's until they finish. The sharuk here is the third plural, third common plural, they. That's where the they comes from, the sharuk. And it's a perfect form. So it's a D perfect third common plural from kala, third hey, and the hey goes away because it's a weak verb. All right, so just to finish up this verse, see if you can pronounce that. Here's my pronunciation. Eight kal haka zir asher li. This is the definite direct object marker. Direct object approaching. Until they finish all. This is until they finish what? Direct object. Until they finish all the harvest. So this is hepatok doubling, so that's the, and then kazir is a noun that means harvest. Until they finished all the harvest, asher li, that is to me, all my harvest. Stay with them until they finished everything that is my harvest. Asher is again relative pronoun, la is to, and yod is direct object or object suffix me. All right, well, that has been the Hebrew of Ruth 2:21, I think it is. As usual, you can go away now, but if you don't want to, here's my book, Biblical Hebrew for the Novice. You can get it on Amazon in paperback form. You can get the ebook here at my Shopify store for a little bit cheaper. It is basically uses tools to teach you Hebrew. You don't have to memorize everything. I think it's really nice. But anyway, and also I have 2 Udemy courses. One is Biblical Hebrew for the Novice, based on that book. It has all the PDFs of the book incorporated into it. I also have another one called Learning Hebrew Inductively Through the Book of Jonah, goes verse by verse through Jonah and teaches Hebrew that way, both on Udemy. This has been the Hebrew of the Week.